Knock, knock. Who's there? Cargo. Cargo who? Cargo. Beep, beep. Miss Lofty, the school secretary, wasn't surprised to see me. What did you do this time? She asked. I looked longingly at the jar of cookies that she always keeps on her desk. Nothing, I said. The teacher yelled at me for something I didn't do. My homework. Yeah, have a cookie, Bobby. You told me that joke last week. I felt bad that I was repeating myself. Dr. Deal came out of her office. I'm scared of Dr. Deal. She doesn't have a sense of humor, but she thinks she does. The worst adults are the ones who think they're funny, but aren't. What are you here for this time, Bobby? She asked. Mr. Matus wanted me to explain to you why I didn't do my homework. Again? What is it with you, Bobby? Do you think there is something special about you that means you don't have to do the assigned work? Dr. Deal asked. Why do adults ask this kind of question? Whatever you answer, you're in trouble. I don't think I'm special, I muttered. At least that was the truth. Right now, I want you to write Mr. Matus an essay explaining exactly why you didn't do your homework. Make it coherent. Do you understand the word coherent? It means observing logical order and showing intelligence. Yes, ma'am, I said, but I felt like asking, do you understand the word sarcastic? She sounded so much like my dad. I instantly got a stomach ache. I don't like writing anything that's not funny. I wanted to get out of there. I had things to do. Dr. Deal went back inside her office. I stared at the blank piece of paper. Maybe I should tell the truth. I hadn't done my homework because I was watching television. I didn't think Dr. Deal was really going to accept that as an intelligent excuse. I thought about lying, but Dr. Deal hated liars even more than lazy kids who don't do their work. All right, I'd try to be logical. I took my pen and wrote, I did not do my homework because... By the time I got home, I took a rest after a long day. I had to have dinner, and the pizza guy was late. Then it was 8 o'clock. I had to help my grandmother watch Comedy Central. Then it was 8:24. I was going to do my homework, but the TV wouldn't let me. Then I drank hot cocoa for 5 minutes. By that time, it was 9:35. It was time for bed. No more time for homework. I handed the paper to Miss Lofty. I'm done, I said. I wrote a whole page. Miss Lofty took the paper. She didn't look very interested. Luckily, Dr. Deal wasn't around. School was finally out for the day. I ran to the coffee shop where Jimmy told me I could meet him. Jimmy was sitting in a far booth with one of his buddies, an older guy in his 20s. They were staring out the window at a woman with a little brown dog. Hey, Jimmy, I said. He waved to me to keep quiet. He and his friend continued to stare at the dog. The dog was cute, but I couldn't see anything that special about it. And the woman wasn't young or anything. The dog sniffed a piece of paper lying in the gutter next to the fire hydrant. No, muttered Jimmy. Not on the paper, not on the paper. What? I asked. What's going on? Shut up, kid, said Jimmy, but he said it with a grin. Don't tell me to shut up, and don't call me kid, I told him. All right, he shouted, suddenly grinning from ear to ear. I wondered if he was grinning because I'd stood up to him. Jimmy sometimes plays games with me like that. He'll test me, like in a wrestling match. Then he'll tell me he's proud of me when I fight back. I looked out the window. The dog had peed on the fire hydrant. Pay up, Jimmy said to his buddy, sitting next to him. You had a bet on where the dog would pee? I asked Jimmy incredulously. Jimmy smirked. Any bet you win is a good bet, he said proudly. His friend paid up. Lucky guess, he said disgustedly, and left me and Jimmy alone. Jimmy stretched out his arms along the back of the booth. He looked like he owned the place. So, little bro, how are things in the Black Mood Lagoon? That's Jimmy's nickname for home. I have to admit it's a pretty good nickname. Not nice, but kind of accurate. Things are okay. Grandma misses you a lot. Jimmy grinned. Yeah, I bet Mom and Dad miss me too, especially Dad. They fight about you, I said. Maybe that's a sign they miss you. Well, when they stick a sign in the window that says, "Come back, Jimmy, we were wrong to get so mad, all is forgiven," then I'll believe it. I knew Mom and Dad, especially Dad, would never put up a sign like that. Dad would have to admit that he was wrong, and Dad would rather be right than have Jimmy back. Jimmy stood up. Hey, Bobby, don't look so down, he said. He gave me a little pretend punch on the forearm. Are you okay? I asked him. Don't worry about me. I'm loving life since I left home. I didn't exactly believe him, but maybe I just didn't want to believe that he was happier living somewhere else. I've got phone calls to make, little bro, said Jimmy. You'd better run along home. Graham will be worried about you. Can I tell her you send your love? I asked him. Sure, said Jimmy. You could even tell her I mean it. He gave me a smile. Jimmy's got a great smile. What about Mom and Dad? I couldn't help asking him. Any messages for them? Jimmy looked thoughtful. How's Mom doing? He asked. She's worried about you, I said. She wants you home. Jimmy gave a half laugh, as if he didn't really believe me. How can you tell? Did she actually express an opinion with Dad around? Mom misses you, I insisted. Well, tell her I miss her too, and tell Dad knock knock for me. Knock knock, who's there? I said, playing along. Nothing, said Jimmy. Just say knock knock. Dad used to teach knock knock jokes to Jimmy and me. Remember this one? I said to Jimmy. I bet it was the first one you and Dad taught me. Knock knock. Who's there? Said Jimmy, but in a resigned voice. Cargo. A slight smile played on Jimmy's lips. Cargo who? Cargo, beep beep, I said. Think back. Every time we used to go in a car, we'd say, cargo, beep beep. That was a million laughs. Jimmy just stared at me. Yeah, that's our dad. A laugh a minute. I'll see you, kid. I watched Jimmy leave. I tried to think of a knock-knock joke to call him back with, but for once, nothing seemed funny.